What up, YouTube? Elleix coming back at you with another StarCraft 2 cast. Now we're back in the alternate StarCraft 2 universe because despite the resemblance, as we can see, this is not a Protoss player. This is a Keiron. This is something that looks in between a Zerg and a Protoss. It looks almost like a Zerg-Protoss hybrid, and on the bottom right-hand side, this Keiron player is being played by our teal Grandmaster player Yu. And on the top left-hand side of the map, we have our purple Grandmaster Zerg player SepeSusi. We'll call him Sepe for short. Now, this should be a really interesting game because we have a modded race. We have a custom race going up against one of the OG StarCraft races. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out. You saying I might try something else this game. We don't know what you tried last time, but evidently it sounds like he lost. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out with the Keiron that I think is really cool is when they build structures, the building sort of rises from the depths. It rises from the water, which is such a cool animation. As we can see right here, he is expanding. He's building a citadel, which is the Nexus equivalent for the Keiron, and nothing is here right now, but as this building progresses, it slowly take shape, which I think is super cool. And one other thing I wanted to point out that the Keiron are able to do, they don't warp in structures like Protoss. They have to build it consistently, similar to how Terran does it, but they can build it from a distance. They have the option of building it from far away. This is a great example right here. Actually, we see you building what is going to be a sanctum, which I think is the equivalent of a gateway. No, actually, the edifice is the equivalent of the gateway, but can build it up close, or as we can see, the formulator, similar to an extractor, able to build it from far away. So really interesting. Now, it does look like Yu is scouting around, does see what is going to be a spawning pool, researching Zergling speed, and there is already a hatchery right here, so he does see that at the very least there are two bases for Sepe, our purple Zerg player. We have two Zerglings already out, likely to try and deny any other scouting by our teal Keiron player, and it looks like Sepe actually going for a third hatchery, so this is a bit of a greedy playstyle by our Zerg player. Is Keiron going to spot this? Oh, sorry, you, our teal Keiron player, going to spot this, and it looks like he does. He is actually scouting and able to spot the third base for our purple Zerg player, so he should rest assured that there's no weird all-any play coming out from Sepe. This does look like it is going to be a macro play coming out of our purple Zerg player. Now, looking back at our teal Keiron player, not Protoss player. My brain is trying so hard to say Protoss. You guys have no idea how difficult it is for me to cast this game right now. But taking a look at our teal Keiron player, one other thing I wanted to point out, as we can see, I'm really surprised that we don't see this from any of the OG StarCraft races, but we have what is going to be an Empyrean. This is going to allow, I believe, Harbingers to warp in for the teal Keiron player, but this building flies. It is a floating building, so the Keiron can either warp this in effectively anywhere they want to. They can warp it in above the mineral line, or they could even warp it in above their own buildings. That gives them a lot of options for how they do their SimCity. They can build this thing virtually anywhere, which I find super cool. That is such a clever idea by Solstice, the guy who developed this mod, and he left me a comment in my last video, which I will link in the top right-hand side of this video. He mentioned that he's been spending about a decade developing this mod. So this is effectively StarCraft 3, ladies and gentlemen. I really truly feel like I'm casting a StarCraft from an alternate dimension. It's actually wild to me. But taking a look at the purple Zerg player, what is he up to? He does not have a lot of tech right now. He is still building drones. Taking a look at the production tab, we see four more drones on the way, and we see what is going to be a lair on the way as well. So he is going for a bit of a greedy playstyle right here, but simultaneously going for the harassment and able to take out some of the converters that we're building these two buildings right here, these two reliquaries, which I believe are upgrade structures. And as we can see, similar to Terran, once you destroy the workers building those structures, these structures are stuck in limbo. So despite the Protoss resemblance, they're kind of like an in-between of Terran and Protoss, where they can warp in a building kind of from far away, but they have to warp them in consistently. And one other thing, as we just saw, this is a Harbinger that is built from, I believe, the Empyrean. So they warp in really, really fast. One thing I did not mention is these buildings provide you the tech and the charges to build units, and then you warp in the units about a pylon's energy distance away from the Citadel, the main the main economy structure for the Keiron, which I find super, super interesting. Now, the Harbinger is a really strong unit. It deals both ground and air damage. So as we briefly saw, you able to take out an Overlord, but also able to snipe drones. So the Harbinger, a ridiculously effective harassment unit. They do so much damage. As we can see, this queen actually dies, not able to take out any of the Harbingers, any of the two Harbingers. This Harbinger has 4 kills. This Harbinger has 3 kills. Taking a look at the workers killed, only 4 workers killed so far, but there's no queen right here. We do have the Spore Crawler, but these, it looks like 2 Harbingers are the critical number you need to one-shot workers. As we can see, these drones are dying. Taking a look now, suddenly we went up from 4 workers killed to 13, so 9 more workers killed right there by just 2 Harbingers. That's actually insane. We have a 4th base coming down for our teal teal Keiron player. I keep wanting to say Protoss, man. And we have another Harbinger right here on the other side of the Zerg base, trying to throw down some harassment right here. We do see Zerg on 4 bases. We see the 4th base just about finishing up for our teal Keiron player. We have the Volt, which is like a ranged zealot, basically. They come from the tier 1 tech for the Keiron. But man, you better cancel this Citadel. It looks like it's about to go down. Does cancel this, and I feel like the animation is slightly different there. I feel like that color is different than what we usually see. We also have a decent amount of Harbingers right here, able to engage this purple Zerg army, and nothing in this Zerg army shoots up except for the one Ravager with the corrosive bile. But honestly, this Ravager is not going to be able to do anything. I would like to see Hydralisks coming out for the purple Zerg player to take care of these Harbingers, because man, it looks like you is focusing on building a Harbinger army, man. We have 2 more Harbingers on the way to meet their friends. But Sepe thinking, look, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to go for not necessarily a base trade situation, but a situation that is going to force Keiron to run back home and defend this. This is not a lot of ground army compared to what is going to be a very beefy Roach Ravager army. But here we go. You able to actually engage this. Their DPS is actually insane, man. But is Sepe going to be able to force the cancel on the Citadel for the second time? Actually able to force the cancel on that Citadel. This is going to leave the Keiron on 3 bases, going against what is going to be a 4-base Zerg. So, despite, I want to say, losing a ton of resources right here, and yes, does lose about 4,000 resources total in this game compared to 650 resources lost by you. So, does lose a lot of resources, but the silver lining here for the purple Zerg player is he's able to keep the Keiron on 3 bases for quite a long time. And here we go. We have what is going to be 4 Hydras. Or sorry, not 4 Hydras. I don't know what I'm saying right now. What is going to be quite a bit of Hydras for our Zerg player. I wanted to say he was on 4 bases, and then I just said 4 Hydras. My brain is broken. I am trying so hard to keep up with the meta of the custom Scion Races mod. It's so sick. These races have so much individuality. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention is We have what is going to be the capital ship, the Paragon, but they warp in just as fast. I feel like they warp in just as fast as whatever other tier 1 units for the Keiron. The difference is the tech structures give you a certain amount of charges. Oh man, Sepe not canceling what was, I want to say, the 5th base right here. So very big pickup by you, but at the same time, we have what is going to be a big push out on the right-hand side of the map by Sepe, able to take out one of the Paragons. This is the capital ship for the Keiron race. I believe they cost 300 and something minerals. They are not a cheap unit, but this is so much for the Keiron player, man. I'm not entirely sure who's going to come out ahead right here. This is quite a lot of anti-air. We have a ton of Hydralisks, but no, Sepe running away. I think Sepe honestly could have engaged those 3 remaining Paragons. You saying, crap, I messed that up. And yeah, fair enough. He is still stuck on 3 bases where we have what is going to be four bases for our Zerg players still. I feel like it could expand one more time. And just as I say that, going for the 5th base on the left-hand side of the map right here. So I don't really know who's ahead right now because we have 81 workers to 79 workers. Slight favor for you, but the difference is you is just now getting his 4th base. It is not finishing up, and man, I love this animation for the Keiron. This is so sick. I really, truly feel like I'm casting an alternate universe of StarCraft or StarCraft 3. I really don't know what to tell you guys. This is so well developed. These models look so cool, and we have what is going to be another Paragon, and as we can see, it's warping in so fast, but the tech structures give you a certain amount of charges. So let's say you want to warp in like four Paragons, the capital ship for the Keiron, you'll need 4 of the tech structures for that unit. So that's where the balance comes. So yeah, you can warp it in virtually instantly, but you can only warp in like 3 or 4 of them if you have only 3 or 4 of the tech structures. I don't recall at the moment what exactly what tech structures are being used to warp in the Paragon, but I do know you need individual tech structures. And one other thing, we have what is the Aegis right here. This reminds me of the Nexus overcharge for the Protoss, and look at this. It does so much damage. It is such a good defensive structure. As we can see, the entire Zerg army got melted with the use of the Paragon and the use of the Aegis right here. I feel like this is just a really, really strong Keiron army. What I would like to see are corruptors coming out for the Zerg player to deal with some of these capital ships, because these are effectively the equivalent of the carrier. You need some sort of anti-air answer if you want to keep yourself in the late game against a Keiron that's building Paragons. The Paragons are so strong. They're honestly like an in-between of the carrier and the battle cruiser. I believe they fly around and shoot at the same time, but they kind of look like they kind of look like a weird like a pancake version of a carrier, I want to say. And we have what is going to be pariahs. These are almost like an in-between of the Adept and an in-between of a Dark Templar. They have kind of like a short-range charge, which I hope we're able to see. We have what is going to be an engagement on the bottom left-hand side. Oh, but there it is. That's why I wanted to show you guys. It's like a short-range but fast Adept shade, and they have like these big-ass sights, man, and they do so much damage. They're such a good unit, and I think they're technically a tier 1 unit, and this is actually forcing Sepe to run back home to answer to this. But we have what is going to be pariahs everywhere, all over the Zerg side of the map. Taking a look at the workers killed right here, 36 workers killed total by our teal Keiron player, man, and he's throwing down a 5th base as well. So I want to say you is coming out ahead in this game. Taking a look at the resources lost, it's 17,000 resources lost to 10,000, so a 7,000 deficit for the purple Zerg player, and here he is. We have a lot of Hydralisks by Sepe trying to engage the 4th base right here, but we have the Aegis, and here we go, the Aegis activating, able to, oh my god, they like one-shot everything. Actually, I think that was four-shotting a lurker right there, but This is forcing Sepe to run back. We do finally have the Corruptors right here trying to take out some of the capital ships for the Teal Keiron player. But man, this Aegis, I'm not in a position to talk about balance because this is only my second time casting a Scion Custom Races mod, but I feel like that Aegis maybe is a little bit overtuned, or maybe you're just not supposed to engage in it when it's activated. You just run away while it's activated and maybe try and attack one of the other bases for your opposing player. But man, what a wild Grandmaster custom game. The OG Zerg versus the custom Keiron race. Very cool game. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.